What's up YouTube, Mike here with PeoplesChoiceGaming, and today I have a corrupted advanced Nova build for you guys. This is a subscriber's request. It's probably been the most requested out of anything for a really long time, and sorry it's been a long time since I originally did a video, but now I'm getting the corrupted video out for you guys you've been waiting for. If you're new to the game and you're wondering why I'm not going over all the powers and breaking them down and completely talking about Nova and everything, that's because she's actually been out for a long time, and I've already made a video about her when she first came out and talked about every power and everything, like I do with every weapon in Warframe. I've pretty much covered all of them in the game a while ago, because it's been about a year since I've been doing them. So a lot of the videos you're gonna see the last few months are mainly updated guides and specialized builds. But anyways, this is going to be a corrupted guide focusing around power efficiency, and basically her main two best powers, the antimatter drop and the molecular prime. Just the ridiculous damage we could do with the antimatter drop, and when combining it with the ultimate. And by the way, if you're newer to the game, I'm going to explain both those powers, completely break down both those powers, how they work, the stats and all that stuff, when I get to the arsenal and the build part of the video, which is coming up here in about a minute. I just wanted to show some gameplay, of how the ulti works, how chain reaction kills a bunch of enemies, which most people know that have been playing the game for a while and have Nova. And then the antimatter drop, the ball you throw out and you put damage into it by shooting it, which gets enhanced, and you do a ton of AoE damage with that as well. The Paris Prime is a weapon I've found to work really well on it, because I do 100,000 damage with my Paris Prime, one headshot. So other than headshots, I guess 50,000 damage, crit damage. So when I'm using that and I get one shot into my ball, I'm usually doing around 1,000,000 damage, sometimes like 600, 700,000 damage, which is still so good for high level enemies. And then right here, I think I get either all 4 arrows from the 2 shots, or maybe 3 arrows into the ball, and I drop 2.2 and 2.4 million damage. Just so nasty. No rifle amp, it's just me, and you got to think like all your teammates can shoot the ball as well, so you can do millions of damage with this weapon. Have fun with it, guys. Try a bunch of different weapons and see how high you can actually get. Let me know in some comments. Have fun with that. Have fun with it. It's what it's all about. But she's really easy to use. And pretty much the best damage Warframe and damage slash support Warframe in Warframe, especially for high level stuff. Really good to have in groups. So let's go ahead and jump into the arsenal so I can show you how to mod it correctly, so that you can do what you see me doing here. Alright guys, let's go ahead and go over your corrupted advanced Nova build. Let's start with her polarities. She has 2 V polarities. I switched one of them a long time ago to a defense polarity because she doesn't need the 2 Vs, and she's a little squishy with lower shields, so I wanted to get some extra shields to make her have a little better defense, so I did put the redirection in there. And then we got focus on her other V polarity to add some power strength. Now for her aura, we have the energy siphon in there, get the most points, matching the dash polarity. You can use whatever aura you want, as long as you're able to get all the mods on that I'm going to tell you need to put on. Depending on what you're doing and maybe what the group's running, that'll depend on what you want to run aura-wise. Now as for the powers, her first power is alright, but it's lower damage, and this is an advanced build for high level enemies, so we're not going to use that. We're focusing on her ultimate, molecular prime, and her antimatter drop. Now you want flow, streamline, stretch, focus, molecular prime, and antimatter drop full rank. Redirection, mine's 2 from the top, but you can take it all the way up if you want. Fleeting expertise, there is an efficiency cap, so make sure that's 2 from the top, because we do have streamline as well. And then rush is a personal preference. You do not have to run her or run that mod because she's very fast already. You could take it out and put wormhole in if you wanted. I do this a lot. Wormhole will get you across the map really quickly. It's great for survival. It's great to get you all the way at the top of the map, to get into sneaky places to snipe from, and all kinds of fun stuff. So you could run that and rush, or one of the other, or just whatever you want to do. Personal preference. But make sure you have everything else on here. Now Basically, our stretch is just going to add range to both these powers. It's going to add range to the explosion of antimatter drop, which is going to be nice to bring us close to around 20 meters to make sure we cover, you know, the whole distance we need to. A molecular prime has a great prime distance of 25 meters by default and an explosion range of 15 meters. But like I said, you know, the stretch is going to help out with that as well, and it's going to allow us to almost cover the whole map on a defense, which is really nice, being able to prime all the enemies pretty much around. And lastly, the focus is just going to add power strength mainly to our molecular prime. It adds damage to the base 100 damage of antimatter drop, which makes no difference whatsoever. And with molecular prime, it'll add a few hundred damage to that, pushing up over 1,000. You start with 800 base damage on molecular prime. Streamline and flow, flow for energy, you know, and then we get streamline, fleeing expertise for efficiency. Basically, her ultimate is really good. You want to be able to cast it a lot. You don't want to run out of energy, so the corrupted efficiency is the best way to go. And especially when you're using her for advanced builds, or you're using her basically to do advanced runs like high level defense and survival, where energy becomes scarce, unless you're running like a special Necros group. And you're going to be wanting to cast these a lot, so you really want that efficiency. Now, I'm going to go over how these powers work really quickly, not just for newer players, and I know a lot of you know how they work, but they have been changed slightly since Damage 2.0, so I want to talk about those, mainly just the damage they do. So, Molecular Prime, its blast does, blast damage now, and Antimatter Drop does radiation damage. Now, the way Molecular Prime works, guys, is you're going to prime all the enemies within a 25 meters distance, even more with stretch. And then all them primed enemies, if you're shooting them, you're going to do 200% extra damage to them, and they're going to be slowed down by 50%. So a great damage buff and a nice little crowd control slowing them down. However, you know, if you kill them right away, basically, you know, on death, they're going to explode, so you're not really going to see much of a damage enhancement because you're going to be, you know, one-shotting them up into a pretty high level. But when they die, the enemies explode that are primed, and as long as, you know, the other primed enemies are within the explosion distance, then they explode, and then the next ones explode, and it's a domino chain reaction effect. And that's how you wipe out a whole map, 30 plus enemies, and why this power is so good. You know, a lot of people think that this power does like a whole lot of damage or something. It's not that. It actually only does 800 damage, which actually is not that high as compared to a lot of ultis. But because of the damage enhancement it does for all the enemies, that's huge. And because of the chain reaction, that's why you kill so many enemies at once. Now, Antimatter Drop basically throws out a ball, and if you're looking at it, it slows it down, and you shoot the ball. Either you, your teammates, or enemies can all shoot the ball and put damage into it, and then you hit the ground with it. It has an explosion range of 15 meters, which is all radiation damage, and basically the equation for when you're shooting the ball is 100 base damage plus 400% damage so times whatever damage you put into it. So if I put in 100 to 200k damage with my Paris Prime, then I'm going to do that times 400% plus 100, and then it's going to explode, and I'm going to do hundreds of thousands of damage just with the power by itself, or even more if I'm going up against Grenier because of the 75 damage bonus. And you're going to get a 50% bonus against the Poison and Disruptor Ancients, which is really nice. Now, the amazing combo is both these powers together. If you prime all the enemies, then they're all going to receive 200% extra damage. So first of all, with the Antimatter Drop, forget about that 100 base damage. I mean, it's just 100 damage, so it doesn't really mean much. So now, if you put these both together, think about it. This is how I'm getting my 1 million to 2 million damage. I'm putting in 100 to 200,000 damage, and then times 400%, and then times 75%, and then times 200%. So that's how you're doing the millions of damage. And that's just with me. If all your teammates are shooting the ball, you can do millions and millions of damage. It's crazy. And a little fun fact, if you're lagging super hard because of the FPS problems in this game, because the game does not have a good optimized engine, you can get the Antimatter Drop ball to actually stop, and if that happens, you can sit there and shoot it for like a long time. And I've done almost 1 billion damage. I think there's been YouTube videos of it before. It's really, really neat. So now, to end the video, this is what I want to mention here. Some people have mentioned to me, hey, do antimatter drop with Nova. You do a ton of damage with power strength. Okay, this is wrong. Antimatter drop does all the damage it does because of how it works, how I said. Power strength does not affect any of that. The only thing power strength affects is the 100 base damage, which is nothing. You can get maybe 100 more base damage, you know, which is nothing. 100 damage compared to the millions you're going to do. So you don't need that at all for that. Now for Molecular Prime, the best thing about it, other than the fact that the chain reaction is awesome and you can kill a bunch of enemies up to maybe like mid 30s or 40s, is the fact that it does 200% damage to all enemies when you're shooting them, and it slows them down by 50%. So advanced players past like enemies levels of around maybe 35-40 are going to be using Nova, you know, for the combo of these powers and the damage, and because this power is just great by letting everybody do 200% extra damage. But power strength does not increase that either, so we don't want to focus on power strength. Plus blind rage has a negative efficiency, and that's the negative part of that, and it's going to take our efficiency way down, which is really bad, you know, for higher level stuff. We want really good efficiency. The only thing power strength is going to affect really is the explosion damage. And yes, you might, you know, we might be able to get another 800 or 1000 damage, but all that's going to do is when you stop one-shotting normally, like with focus on here, you're going to be able to one-shot fine up to a decent level like 35-40, and all another like maybe 500 or 800 whatever damage is going to do is allow you to one-shot for a few more levels. It's not worth it, because once you get past that level anyways, it's not about one-shotting the enemies. It's not even about the damage, because 1 or even 2,000 damage means nothing to higher level enemies. Higher level enemies, what matters is the other part of Molecular Prime. What the advanced players are using it for is that 200% extra damage and the 50% slowing it down. So that's why you do not focus on the power strength at all. But it's nice to just have the focus, so we're at least one-shotting up into a high level like 35-40, which is going to be Pluto and even more. It's going to be your end game. And that's for the other type of people that just really like Nova for one-shot big groups of enemies. And that's pretty much it, guys. Nova is one of the highest damaging Warframes in the game. I mean, she pretty much is, and she is, you know, just the best support damage Warframe that you really want to have in your 4-man group. And you know, there's also Rhino with his roar, Banshee with sonar, which is really awesome, but I've already talked about that in other videos. You can go on my playlist and find those videos. But other than that, yeah, Nova is the shit. If you think doing millions of damage is fun and having one of the best ultis in the game for record runs for high level defense and survival, then get this build going and start using your Nova if you already aren't. So please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.